Hey everyone, this is Furby Fan 2004, and today this is part 3 of Meet the Cars, now featuring characters from Cars 3, which I've already done all of them. So, done all the Cars 3 characters, I think. So, here is part 3. Sorry, it's been 3 months. I've been busy with other stuff recently. But, anyways, let's continue. Here are two of the security guards, Marlon Clutches McKay and Marco Axelbender. So, let's begin with Marlon. He is a Capital Motors 2004 Econ. when you're cornered by a mob of ferocious paparazzi, there's no one better to call than Marlon Clutches McKay, a veteran whose time was spent larger as an army troop carrier. He traded in his bulletproof glass to pursue his dreams of becoming a Motor Speedway of the South security team leader. He loves nothing better than locking grills with nosy camera sidecars and personally showing them the exit. Marco Axelbender. Never mess with Marco Axelbender. This former ATF pursuit vehicle received a presidential commendation when he blew out 3 tires during a high-speed pursuit, yet still managed to catch the assailant while chasing after him on nothing but rims. Today, he treads safer roads at the Los Angeles International Speedway, arresting scalpers and turning away the riffraff. He is an Emery Craft Inca. Meet the press. On the Racing Sports Network, on television, on the radio, or in print, who is trackside to give you all the latest race information? The press vehicles, that's who. From high in the sky to down and dirty on the track, they bring you the latest and greatest updates in real time. Chick Hicks. He is a 1979 Shyster Kremlin. He is the arch rival of Lightning McQueen. Chick Hicks retired from Piston Cup Racing and signed on to the Racing Sports Network to host his own show. Instead of cutting down opponents on the track, he now cuts them down verbally on his cable-run sports show, Chick's Picks with Chick Hicks. If you want the no-holds-barred commentary, Chick Hicks is your car. He retired from Piston Cup Racing. Actually, he didn't get retired. He got fired because he wrecked the King and made a big crash at the Motor Speedway of the South to try to stop McQueen. That's when the audience, and including his twins, got mad at him, and they jeered and threw everything at him. So that's why he got fired. Next is Natalie Certain. Natalie, she is an Evolve Motors Provoc Quintus 4S. Natalie Certain is a highly respected statistical analyst who judges strictly by the numbers. She is incredibly book smart, but has limited practical knowledge in the racing world. She places more confidence in mathematics than in the passion and determination of a true racer. Then we've got the announcers for the race. We've got Brent Mustangberger. He is a 1964 and a half Ford Mustang. Brent Mustangberger is a Racing Sports Network broadcasting icon. With the self-proclaimed best stall in the garage, the excitable 1964 and a half Ford Mustang is widely considered one of the most recognizable voices in the history of automotive sports television and is associated with some of the most memorable moments in modern sports. He's followed McQueen's career around the world and back and can't wait to see what happens next as the next gens change up the game. He will be at the Piston Cup reporting how it goes down. Then we've got Daryl Cartrip. He is voiced by Daryl Waltrip. He is a 1977 Chevy Monte Carlo. Daryl Cartrip is a Southern Gentle Car and ex-Piston Cup champion, so he knows what it takes to win. He is in the Racing Sports Network booth for every major Cup event, calling the play-by-play and adding humor and personality to the commentary. But when the racing flag drops, he's all business. That's when he shouts his signature, "Boogity, boogity, boogity, let's go racing, boys." And then we've got Bob Cutlass. He is a 1998 Saxon GTSC Grand Touring Sport Coupe GHI. Bob Cutlass is a world-renowned sports announcer. He's cornered every sporting event from tractor pulls to monster truck rallies, including the last 3 auto games. But he's the most famous for teaming up with former Piston Cup racer Darrell Cartrip to announce Piston Cup racing on the RSN. Bob Cutlass is voiced by Bob Costas. Bob Cutlass is the voice of reason to Darrell's enthusiastic and colorful commentary. And then we've got Corey Turbowitz, the reporter. She is a 2005 Luxomobile animatic. The smoky-voiced Corey Turbowitz started her career as a voicemail operator, but her delivery of "You have 3 new messages" was spoken with such flair and irreverence. The next thing she knew, she was #1 morning show host on the radio in the Bay Area, as well as one of the top Piston Cup reporters on television. Then we've got reporter Shannon Spokes. She is a Saxon GTSC from 2016. On the track, reporting is what Shannon Spokes does best. Always in the middle of the action, she is known for weaving her way into the trickiest of interviews and shines as an RSN pit road reporter. She asks the tough questions and does in-the-moment interviews in the pits and on the track. If there is a big success or a big mess, just look for Shannon. She's the one in the stylish headset. Then we've got Tim Rimmer, Axelo. Integrity. That's the first rule for any decent member of the press. Tim Rimmer is not a decent member of the press, though. He is a tabloid photographer for a local supermarket rag. Even Tim wouldn't give Chick Hicks the satisfaction of having his picture taken while he celebrated his stolen Piston Cup win. Then we've got Chuck Choke Cables. He is a Pablo Loco lug nutter. Chuck Choke Cables hails from the Midwest but somehow found himself in California covering the biggest race of the season. A live telecaster for 20 years with the Plainville Pavement Press, he recently made the jump to RSN and became one of the hottest not-so-minivan cams on the news team. Then we've got Ron Hover. He is a whirlybird lift-a-lot. During the week, Ron Hover is a news chopper for CRSN, but when he's not covering a big race, he's covering a big fire with thousands of gallons of water. Ron is a volunteer firefighter in Sonoma County, a thrill seeker by nature. Ron loves the excitement of his work and enjoys helping out his community. Then we've got Hauser Boone, Crown Celestia. Hauser Boone was the first photographer to coin the now show phrase, "Show us the bolt." He called it out at a press event, and Lightning McQueen actually turned right toward him and flashed his $1 million lightning bolt. It was indeed a proud moment for Mr. Boone. If he'd only trademarked the phrase, he could have retired 20 years earlier. Then we've got Dan Sklarkenberg, the news reporter. He is a Park Motors Perk-X. Dan Sklarkenberg knows news. And knowing news like Dan knows news allows Dan to cruise for new news that might not be known. Naturally, knowing news as soon as Dan knows news puts him in the know, and since he knew it when it was new, and thus able to report it in the now, then yes, Dan knows news. Then we got Bert, a Duchamp Futuro. Someday, when Bert finds a gallery that understands his abstract motion blur photography, he will finally be recognized as the true artist he is. In the meantime, though, it's his job as a paparazzo that pays the bills. And yes, paparazzo is the singular of paparazzi. And yes, it means oversized mosquito in Italian. Then we've got Cora Copper, Accelo Rapido SI. Cora Copper. Cora Copper is one of the new shows you never want to tangle with, especially if you've got a place to hide. A tireless, some say ruthless investigator. She's covered dirt on the cleanest circuit racers. Anything will sell copies of her paper. Autovan Empire. Then we've got David Hobbscap, who is just David Hobbs if you take away the C. He is a 1963 Jaguar E-Type lightweight. I have this car in Real Racing 3 and he's the same color. Originally from Royal Leamington Spa, England, David Hobbscap is a worldwide racing luminary. His 30-year career in professional racing spans the globe as well as all types of motorsports. Now David shares that priceless knowledge as a racer announcer who is well known for providing comic relief during broadcast. A former champion with 20 starts at 24 Hours of Le Mans, his storytelling comes from personal experience. And then we've got Skip Richter and Chuck Manifold. Capital Motors and Bronium Motor Company Shindigasar. Chuck Manifold started out in the news business as Barry Pippinloo, but when he started covering the racing scene, he knew that he needed a name better suited for the tough nature of the circuit. As soon as he started reporting as Chuck Manifold, his career took off faster than a drag racer at his career took off faster than a drag racer at a green light. Skip Richter. Skip Richter has been reporting about the racing scene for years. After doing volunteer radio broadcasts of race day action in college, he got an internship at a local television station. He soon made his mark with the launch of his weekly race recap entitled The Race Machine, which can now be seen in 33 cities. Then we've got the Demolition Derby racers. Thunder Hollow Crazy 8 racers aren't your typical type of race car. For them, it isn't about speed at all. It's about wrecking, not racing. Let's try this again. Meet the Demolition Derby racers. Thunder Hollow Crazy 8 racers aren't your typical class of race car. For them, it isn't about speed at all. It's about wrecking, not racing. The last car running is the one who wins. Getting dented and dirty is all part of the fun for the Thunder Hollow Crazy 8 racers. Then we've got Blind Spot. Brawny Motor Company Prince XL. What's crazy and shaped like a figure 8? The Thunder Hollow Crazy 8 track. The regular Thunder Hollow track was transformed into a demolition racetrack for Crazy 8 racers. Are there any rules to the racing here? No. Is there a lot of smashing and crashing? Yes. It would be a plain miracle for any car to finish this demolition derby event dent-free. Sometimes it's a miracle to finish it all because it's crazy. Blind Spot. Blind Spot never gets tired of throwing herself onto the Thunder Hollow Crazy 8 track. Even when she's smashed, dented, and in serious need of refueling, she refuses to take a break from the demolition derby. She loves giving it her all, quite literally, until she's got nothing left to give. One can find her being carted off the Thunder Hollow Crazy 8 track after each race, still yammering on about getting back in there to wreak havoc. Then we've got Miss Fritter. Miss Fritter, she is an ICU school bus Type C. Miss Fritter loves the smash and crash life of demolition derby. She's a local legend at the Thunder Hollow Speedway. Fritter has many advantages in her crazy arsenal, like her formidable size, menacing look, including smokestacks of doom, a razor-sharp stop sign, and the license plates of her victims hanging from her sides, and trash-talking intimidation tactics. Then we've got RV Motorhome. He is a 1995 Box-O-Matic coach. RV Motorhome is an RV camper with an edge. He plays rough on the track alongside He plays rough on the track alongside alongside Dr. Damage and Miss Fritter, spinning and smashing the competition every Friday night at the Crazy 8 to their fans' delight. RV is a formidable demolition racer, big enough to take on anyone insane enough to play along. Then we've got Dr. Damage. Dr. Damage crushes the competition with the speed and agility of an emergency vehicle on high alert. He made a career of racing to the hospital. Now he sends his challengers there. He and RV are Crazy 8 regulars and have a fan base of their own. He is a 1993 Silverliner Medicab. And then we've got Hit and Run, the twins, Roscoe and Dr. Drippy. I have Roscoe and Dr. Drippy. He is a Hollismobile Campster, Emery Craft RN1, and Park Motors XS. Roscoe is the gatekeeper at Thunder Hollow Speedway. He's amused when he meets rookies who think they're brave enough to run on Crazy 8 night and has fun watching them try to survive on the track. Despite that, Roscoe is a stickler for the rules, no escaping the track once the race starts, last car driving wins, and no cursing on family night because swerving is encouraged. Mr. Drippy. Mr. Drippy might be the biggest fan of Crazy 8 night. As Thunder Hollow's official water truck, he makes sure that the dirt track stays wet because a good demolition derby track calls for plenty of mud. Mr. Drippy couldn't be happier because his job during Crazy 8 nights allows him to rub tires with all the racers, including the legendary Miss Fritter. Hit and Run. Most demolition derby cars operate solo, but not Hit and his partner Run. Run is the lead car, drawing the opponents after him because he looks so easy to catch. But where is he really taking them? Right into a trap. He then drives in and smashes the opponent until they can no longer move. Paint another skull on his wheel well. We've got Taco and APB. 1982 Equalizer, Mule, and Capital Motors TPAS. The question that Taco gets asked the most from fans is this: how did you get your name? Taco was sandwiched between two other cars in a wreck, and when he came to, his new shape resembled that of a taco. His wife added some realistic paint and a star was born. APB. It's uncertain if APB had a career in law enforcement before she joined the Crazy 8 circuit. Many cars think that APB stands for All Points Bulletin, but in this case, APB stands for Always Pumping the Brakes. Part 4 will be the Radiator Springs crew. So, to be continued.